Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 4 of Educational Leadership. I hope you had a great weekend. I called a bunch of you on Friday just to check in and see how you were doing. David, I think it was you that had the full message box, you Mr. Popular you. I think you tried to call me back, but I missed you, and then I tried to call you back, and we missed again. So I hope you had a great weekend. And I hope everybody else is having a good start of their work week, David, you included. My week 4 video is a little late, Monday, 5:43. Look at me, Little Miss Latebird. I had some car problems this weekend coming home from Big Bear. Sunday night, I had a rental car because my own car was broken down at home, which is also a great story. My car broke down in front of a former student's house, and thank God it broke down here and not going up the hill to Big Bear. But it broke down, and a colleague took me to get a rent-a-car, and when I came back, my former student helped me move all the furniture and supplies that I was taking to our cabin in Big Bear into the rental car. So one of the perks of teaching, yes! It's so great having kids everywhere, be able to help you and be of service as we've been of service to them. It was lovely to see them, and I was thankful to have that help. But anyways, so on my way down the hill last night, I was in the rental car, and some of you know there's a lot of construction going on the 91 freeway right now, and I hit some type of metal, and it blew the front tire. Luckily, I was able to get the car safely off the freeway. My significant other, Stephen, was following me in a truck, so I was thankful for his help as well. Had a great time in Big Bear. Would have liked to do without the car trouble, but all in all, it was still a great time. So here I am with you. And we've got week 4. We've got our leadership paper due on Sunday. And as I said earlier, I'll have all those papers graded no later than Wednesday, November 18th. Usually I'm pretty quick, but I also like to give some time to your writing. Please remember in your writing that most of you are doing pretty good about this, and every once in a while there's a little slip. But watch grammar and spelling. Even I make these mistakes, but we have to remember that we are masters of education, and so we need to make sure that we're checking grammar and spelling. Always do a second or a third read on your essays. I always tell my students and my fellow writers, that I write outside of teaching. I have to read my work out loud. Especially these days as I've gotten older, it's interesting to me how many mistakes my eyes miss, and when I do a second read, my ears catch those errors when I read it out loud and check. So just make sure that you give your work a double check before you submit. Okay, so let me close out my Blackboard classroom here. This week in the Leadership Challenge, you're reading Chapter 10, Recognize Contributions, Chapter 11, Celebrate the Values and Victories, and Chapter 12, Leadership is Everyone's Business. Pretty self-explanatory looking at those titles. You also have the Set Up to Fail syndrome that you're going to be reading, and in the media, the difference between winning and succeeding. You should also continue on with your reading reflection journal so that you don't get behind on that. And for our discussion board, we have 2 questions. The first one is, how are contributions recognized at your educational setting, or what improvements need to be made to improve upon recognizing contributions? I want to tie this to Chapter 10 and Chapter 11 that I just mentioned about recognizing contributions and celebrating the values and victories. Each of us have had successes in our classroom or at school. And it's not like we're, walking around looking for somebody to pat us on the back, but we all know that when somebody does pat you on the back, it feels really good. And that if they're being sincere about valuing our contributions and sharing our victories, then that also helps to build a climate of trust. As we were talking about before, a sincere attempt to back us in what we do and to give us a shout out. And it, makes us want to do even more for our school and our administrators when we feel respected and supported in that way. I was thinking about my own school, and we just had our JV water polo players just won a team that's always been difficult to beat in water polo. And it was nice to see a teacher just brought it up, not even one of the administrators. The teacher just wrote an email to everybody on the staff and said what a great job the kids had done, and praised the coach. And next thing you knew, everybody was shooting emails back and forth to each other, and it just was wonderful. And it was nice to see that camaraderie and that People were, giving everybody a shout out that deserved one on that team and all the people that worked towards making that team successful. So that'll be nice to read what you guys have to say about your contributions being recognized, or, what you have to say about the improvements that need to be made. The second question should be pretty simple for you because it's about your leadership essay that you're turning in on Sunday. In 1 to 2 paragraphs, briefly discuss the 2 leaders you have chosen for your leadership interviews and why you chose these 2 leaders for this assignment. Share some of your interviewing moments, techniques, or insight for conducting these interviews. Make sure that you hit all 3 of those. Remember, it says share some of your interviewing moments, techniques, or insight for conducting these interviews. Remember that your leadership philosophy page will be due week 6 on Sunday, so you should start thinking about that. And before Opal, my pit bull, starts making more little chewy noise sounds, those are all the squeaks and the grunts that you hear in the background, I will let you go. Have a wonderful week. Contact me if you need to. I'm always here for you.